All right, first things first, let's dig into the 49ers versus the Seahawks. The Niners defeated the Hawks 27-7. And I will say, look, I know a lot of people think I'm gloating because Jimmy Garoppolo was in the game. I've obviously been the biggest proponent of Jimmy Garoppolo for the past 2 years now. However, it was absolutely devastating to see Trey Lance get injured like that. You never want to see something like that. It was a season-ending fracture to his ankle. It's unfortunate for him. It's also unfortunate for the franchise because now we're not going to see what this guy that we traded up 3 whole picks for looks like until the 3rd year. So that's a little bit disappointing, but I do feel more comfortable with Jimmy Garoppolo at the helm, considering the Niners are 31-14 with Jimmy Garoppolo. They're only 9-29 with every other starting QB. Danny, I mean, we take a look at this game. Seattle had absolutely nothing that they could do on offense. I said last week that Geno Smith was the biggest overreaction. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. Absolutely no touchdowns. The only touchdown they got was from special teams. If we look at how this game went in the beginning, it was punt, punt, interception, interception, end of half, punt, punt, end of game. So Geno Smith basically did nothing. I thought Jimmy Garoppolo looked amazing. They completely controlled the game with the run game. They had 45 running attempts, 189 yards. Jeff Wilson looked good. He was filling in for Elijah Mitchell, which was amazing. We had Juszczyk and Jimmy Garoppolo both had a first-yard touchdown run. Garoppolo completed 13 of 21 pass attempts, 154 yards with the touchdown and no interceptions. This is all knowing that Jimmy Garoppolo did not do anything during training camp. He did not take one snap during training camp. So he looked pretty amazing to me. I was excited. I feel better about this season. I'm bummed about Trey Lance. But at the same time, I think that the Niners have a real shot now. What do you think of this game?
Man, you are vindicated. I mean, you've been calling for the Jimmy G. Of course, yeah, like you said, you want to see Trey Lance, develop and thrive, but that's your guy. You know the offense runs smoother under him, and he steps in immediately, no training camp, like you mentioned. And that's the way that the Shanahan offense is supposed to look, the ground and pound and the management. And Jimmy G took his shots as well. He looked pretty good. So I bet you're very happy that your Niners look back on track. And yeah, Jimmy G back at the helm. I mean, Katie Mox is happy. What else can you say?
Well, what else can you say? First of all, and we talked about this, I have never been wrong when it comes to the 49ers and their offseason moves, and specifically the quarterbacks. Everyone always says, oh, you're delusional. You don't know what's going on. And I'm right. Every single time I know this team and I know what's going to happen. Now, of course, I could have never predicted that the Trey Lance would have such a terrible injury just on the second game in. And again, it's absolutely horrible. But I did say that Jimmy Garoppolo was going to play this year. I did say that it was very likely that he was going to stay on the team. And I do think that the 49ers really did themselves a huge favor by buying that expensive insurance policy and having Jimmy G on the roster. It feels like 2017 vibes. He came in also with a hurt quarterback in 2017. It was a rain game. He did crazy. It seems to be that happened again. And you would think from Niners Twitter that everybody hates Jimmy Garoppolo, but I was at a 49ers bar yesterday here in New York City, and the place went nuts when Jimmy came onto the field. They were chanting his name. So I think the faithful are happy. We could all take a sigh of relief, but our heart breaks for Trey Lance. I mean, there's no way around that. The kid and he had a rough week. He had some extracurricular activities where he got a lot of flack from, and then he gets injured now. So, your heart goes out to him. But I do feel very positive about what the 49ers can do now. So let's go.